Hey guys, what's up? My name is Vaux. I live in Brazil now, but I was from Arizona. If you guys know the Phoenix Suns, then that's actually the city I'm from. I'm 23 years old.
Why did you immigrate to Brazil?
So there's a multitude of reasons. I think number one is because what my future holds for me. I think I have to explore the world and see other cultures. Brazil is one of the biggest culture hubs in the entire world. Everyone knows Brazil. I don't think there's even a human on the planet, maybe Papua New Guinea or Sentinel Islands, where people don't know Brazil. Brazil is incredibly famous, and people sort of know the prestige of Brazilian culture throughout the world. I think it's culturally expansive, and Portuguese is such an emotional high and low like language I have to learn. And once you know a Latin language like Portuguese, you're going to be able to learn Spanish, Italian, French, a lot of other languages. And so this is like my introduction to Latin languages. I love football so much. Eu sou corintiano, right? So I love football, and the thing about the United States is that sports is not really taken that seriously. Let's be honest. Most people like their teams when they have alcohol. Here in Brazil, people like their teams with no alcohol, with alcohol. So it's a lot more real. It's a lot more genuine appreciation for their clubs. And there's not a big culture for the MLS inside the United States, and Brazil is massive, right? Also, Brazil has a idea of what I want to do in my future, which is spread the love of diversity. Brazil is a very diverse society, and it's able to work. It's has its problems. Every country does, but it's able to work through its problems by all living together. And eventually, this is the world's. Is going to be all these cultures, all these ethnicities living amongst each other. There'll be no, eventually in 200 years, there'll be no predominant racial group inside the country. In any country around the world, we'll be thriving as humans together. So that's my reason.
How many impressions of Brazil did you have before coming here?
So before I came to Brazil, minhas impressões, muito bem, mas não tenho complicado em cultura. Like I didn't think that was going to be a complicated culture. I don't know if I said that right, but Brazil is an incredibly complicated culture, and that's not really something that the West or the East knows about Brazil. It's a society sort of like hidden behind the veil of samba and other these things that are the most popular. But there's so many different like dance styles, music that is in Brazil that's not advertised to the world, if that makes sense. Experiences you can only have in Brazil because it's only in Brazil.
What was your first cultural impact?
So my first cultural impression was how easy it is to make friends. I immediately met people, and the thing is like it's easy to make friends, but a lot of people are not good people here in Brazil. They're going to try to be your friend and try to like scam you or put you in a bad situation. It's a very common, unfortunate thing about Brazil. But yeah, people are very friendly here and very loving. Yeah.
Do you feel that the American is similar to the Brazilian in the way of living life?
So yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities between Brazil and the United States. Number one, I'm going to briefly talk about politics. I'm not going to try to offend anyone, okay? I'm not really having any side saying this, but basically the same sort of like left and right sort of dynamic is in Brazil as well. And there's many characters on both sides that are very similar. That's all I'm going to say. When it comes to driving culture, like America's huge in driving in cars. That's not really here in Brazil that much. Like people don't really drive around their newest Mustang with a V6 engine, blasting King Von. Like that doesn't really happen in Brazil. You do see people having their cars and they love their cars, but in America, it's like people sometimes spend all their paychecks on cars. In other ways, like America is very not similar, is music is so much better in Brazil, in my opinion. Like I'm gonna offend a lot of Americans, but American music has definitely taken a bad sort of time recently because it's more about the person making the music than the actual music itself. And there's not that many good songs coming out in American music. Like, I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift at all, and yet she's like the most popular, one of the most popular singers in the United States, unfortunately. And one of the biggest dissimilarities is that the United States, when you go out to a club, people are having their phones out. I'll give a classic example of what the United States is like when you go out to party. Oh, my bad. This is it. The beer right here, center mass, right? Center mass, the phone out. You already got the phone out. You're like, put the phone away. This is the face. You know what I mean? That's what it's like. It's not very fun. And you're gonna be like, oh, you haven't gone to Miami. Why do I need to go to Miami? I bet it's like 3 times worse, right? It's probably 3 times more plastic people, taking out the phone and like doing this, But on a serious note, like the biggest similarity is the mental health crisis in Brazil and the United States. Like the mental health epidemic of like depression is massive in the United States. We all know what's going on, like in American schools and stuff like this, and it's a mental health crisis among kids. I was in high school, and kids are having a lot of issues up here, and they're not really speaking about it, and it's the same problem in Brazil. There's also like this, I don't know if like, let me think of, how do I put this? I'm not trying to offend anyone, I'm just trying to speak the truth without offense, but guys, in Brazil, women's rights is not that important. Let's be real, okay? If they were more important, abortion would be legal in Brazil. It's not. It's not legal. I'm very unfortunate because it is a woman's reproductive right, and I hate that I have to like see what goes on here and women are not able to have their rights. To me, it's a right of any person. And United States, it's not legal everywhere, but it is legal in some states, and you can actually find a way to do it. I mean, that's kind of this unfortunate about Brazil is that in some ways, society does favor men better. And if you get offended by that, you're a man. Like, you're not gonna feel that you have a better chance of doing things, if that makes sense. The same sort of things are in the United States. Like, women are not really taken seriously as men. Like, when they say something, I feel like that's happens in Brazil. Maybe a little less, actually, because I think women are probably taken more seriously when they speak, but it's not taken seriously enough. I don't know if that made sense to you guys, how I worded that.
What were your first impressions of the Brazilian soccer?
So, my first impression was watching the Libertadores on TV. I think I said it like a carioca, Libertadores. All the Paulistas are mad at me right now. They're like, oh, we're not taking you anymore. So when I was watching the Libertadores, I noticed that, okay, I love the Champions League. Eu sou madrista, but there's not as much passion in the Champions League compared to the Libertadores. The people are more passionate, the fans. It's less like, because when people go to the Champions League games, right, they're like taking out they're doing the club thing. They've got the phone out, hey, I'm watching Arsenal versus PSV. That's not what we do here, okay? We put away the phone unless I'm recording a video, and we're going all out. We're going all out, we're cheering, and that doesn't really happen in the Champions League as much. The games in Brazil, way louder. And I've been, my first game in Brazil, I'm getting off topic. My first game in Brazil was Flamengo versus Fluminense. And in the americano, decimal levels, my ears hurt. I had hearing problems for 2 days. Truth.
What most fascinates you about Corinthians?
So, this is like a recent development. Me and Corinthians started dating. Then I put the ring on it, you know what I mean? I didn't wear the ring right now, but, I wore it, But this relationship has begun quite recently, actually. It's a very lovely relationship. I had like some fleens, You might see me in some photos in the future, oh, wearing a Fluminense, Flamengo, any club jersey. Okay, just to let you know, you can have your flames, but my true love is Corinthians. And what I think of Corinthians, I think Corinthians is love. Everyone accepted me. There was no hostility, right? They call me brasileiro, you know what I mean? Corinthians fans are incredibly altruistic. Like, they are idealistic. They have like a vision of the club. They're very passionate about the club, and this is very good because a lot of clubs are empty in the United States, like football clubs and American football clubs. Empty support. Not many people live by the club's values, what people in Corinthians do.
How was your passion for football and the history born?
When I was very little, like a little kid, I was playing football. And I remember a little bit about El Clásicos back then, Iniesta, Xavi, Puyol, Busquets, the GOAT, Sergio Ramos. I remember some of the Clásicos back then. And then for about 10 years, I didn't really think about football that much, or for about 5 actually. And then I started playing the game on the iPad, and I loved playing, but I didn't like watching football. And then I started to sort of get into it when I was in the military again. I remembered feeling like passion for it because I went through a hard time in the military. And during that hard time, I was trying to find outlets, and I didn't go to alcohol. I didn't go to bad substances. I didn't go to those things. I instead went to football. I know how ridiculous that sounds, but guess what? That was the great decision of my life, because now one of my videos just got like almost 67,000 views right now, I think. 70 something views. And this would have never happened if I went to substances or alcohol or partying, Like when you follow, let's say, Real Madrid, like Real Madrid and Corinthians, very similar clubs and values, it's something you look forward to in life. I think a lot of people have been actually saved by watching their football clubs in Brazil or Europe or something, because it makes them hopeful for the next season. And when you go to a match and when you have people next to you that are all loving the same thing, and you're going to see them every 3, 4 days, 5 days for a whole year, and they're going to invite you to their parties, you're going to meet their family, this will keep people alive. I really do think that football is another way for people, in a healthy way, in my opinion, to get over what's going on in their personal life. I had gone to the Corinthians game, I think it was Janiel, he told me in Portuguese, but I'll say in English. People in Brazil have a very hard life, and it's true. It's not everyone, but a lot of people have a very hard life here, let's be honest. And so when they look for something in life, like how do I get out? Like how do I get out of this situation? They might look at football as that just hype and passion for them to feel like that good emotion, Because the difference between this and, let's say, American football, it's about money. Clubs can move cities. It's very dead. To me, it's not a real sport as much as it used to be, because teams are constantly moving cities, and there's no history staying in that city and with the people, There's a lot of, each club is sort of blank, But here in Brazil and in Europe, people on the pitch, if you watch football, they go all out, man. All out. There is no giving up. And when you're a supporter watching, let's say a 16-year-old like Lamine Yamal come in and do these insane things on the pitch, and everyone's this guy's unbelievable, you're going to feel within yourself that you can do things more in your life. I truly believe. Because you see these kids coming through the academy, and you're like, man, they literally just through hard work, because of that's how football works, is if you work hard, you're going to make it. Then you see them come in through the academy, and you see them become professional. There is nothing better than to watch that. And the last point I'll make about this topic, I'm yapping a lot, is that football has ended. Just listen to me, guys. It has ended probably a lot of racism in this world. A lot of racism. I'll give you guys an example, right? Ronaldinho is from Grêmio. He's from the South. In the South, you really have Internacional and Grêmio, and the Grenal. You know, like you have basically only two big clubs in the South. I mean, there's obviously other clubs. And it's not really that liked in Brazil. But when Ronaldinho came from the South and he conquered Brazil, then he conquered Europe, and then he came back to Brazil, win the Libertadores with Mineiro. Man, like, I really do think, and I talked to people here in Brazil about this, that it improved relations between the South and the rest of the country, right? For example, I'll give you another one. In Spain, there's a lot of racism towards Vinicius, for example. And we can see this, but I truly believe that he's converted a lot of those racist people to fans after putting his performances in Spain and making Real Madrid even bigger. Because the thing is like there's a lot of racist Madridistas that look at Vinicius or Rudiger or black players and have racism, and football evaporates that when they play good, and they're like, oh wait, this person's an actual human being. Oh, it's crazy. And seeing like African players do well in Europe, and when Europe, especially in the 60s and 70s, when it wasn't really open for people from Africa or South America to come in that much, and they saw these people come in and win Champions Leagues and win these cups, they're like, man, you know, how can I hate this person at this point? Because he just won my team the ultimate title. Like, how do I, you know? So it ends racism. It does, I think.
If you like the integration between football and fashion, as well as football and history, you need to know the Estilo Fiel. It's a photographic project that brings fashion together with the version of each Corinthians fan, environments that they feel very easy, and discover a side of the person they don't know and may like. We want to meet Vaux as a model. The link is in the pinned comment. Of all the Brazilian cities you will know, which one impacted you the most?
Aqui em São Paulo. Muito bem. A maior cidade do mundo. It's the best city in the world, São Paulo. And people look at me weirdly. They're like, are you on one of those? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, a little bit, maybe. São Paulo is the best city in the world. Let's be real. Okay. Rio de Janeiro, what's going to happen to you, right? You're going to go to the city. You're going to have all of the beaches, you're going to see the sunset, and you're going to think, this is so amazing. Then the next day, you're going to do the same thing. And eventually, you're going to be like, okay, I've seen all the same things. It's like so beautiful. What else is there to see? It's just, I keep on seeing beauty. Here in São Paulo, there's so much more things to do than go to the beach. You know, maybe I'm stupid, which I probably am. But here in São Paulo, you can go to Ibirapuera, you know. You can go to Avenida Paulista and like walk the whole thing and not buy anything like I do on Sundays. You can go to the movie theaters. Okay, jokes aside. São Paulo, I don't know, it's like a feeling you have in São Paulo, like this vibe, you know what I mean? Weird, like mystical. Maybe it's the mushrooms I ate this morning, but like, I didn't eat any mushrooms, but like, there's like this mystery juice in São Paulo, I don't know. And, you know, my second favorite city is probably going to be, man, hey, don't hate me because it's underrated, but Paraty, man. But you know what, I was driving my red car at night, you know what I'm saying? And family of four ran them over. I'm kidding, I didn't run them over. Almost ran them over, not. They were like 5 feet away from me, but it was like at 2 a.m. Why are you riding your bike at 2 a.m.? And then I realized, why am I not riding my bike at 2 a.m.? Maybe we should all ride our bikes at 2 a.m., you know? And Paraty is so safe. Everyone's riding their bike. I like it. It's the second best city in Brazil. My third favorite is probably Rio de Janeiro. I like Rio de Janeiro in some ways, even though it has its some issues, you know. My last phone can agree with me. It's currently in a favela. I'm not even kidding. Look, man, I looked at that Ubel. Hey, what's happened to me? I looked at that Apple, man. That thing was in the middle of a favela, bro. Like deep in it. And I looked at my friend. I was like, hey. He's like, don't go there. I said, I'm going. I'm kidding. I didn't go. My phone it's probably on the black market, like probably in some like deep web videos, you know. But other than that, my beef with Rio and lost phones, Rio's amazing. And I think if you really want to experience everything in Brazil, you have to go to Rio. I know that sounds like silly, but you have to. Most people do, I think. But Rio is unbelievably beautiful.
What is in Brazil that isn't in the United States?
So, like, I would say what's here in Brazil, I think, like, there's not a big fitness culture in the United States compared to Brazil. Like, I don't really find it good that a lot of people are dying of obesity. You know, like 100,000 people die of obesity per year in the United States, according to the FDA.com. And it's not good, you know. But Bernie Sanders, he would love Brazil. Like, maybe, hey Bernie, where are you, Bernie? Maybe you should come here because we got free healthcare, bro. You know what I'm saying? One time on my birthday, this is amazing. I couldn't do this in the United States, right? My birthday, 2023, best birthday ever. It was the greatest birthday, let me tell you. The greatest birthday. I was in São Paulo. I drank way too much vodka, whiskey. I drank all the things, right? Greatest birthday ever. I was not able to like function as a human being. I had to go to the hospital for free. I left there for free, and I was trying to give them I was like, do I have to pay? And they're like, no, bro, this is Brazil. You should leave. Like, go home, bro. Have a nice day. And I said, damn, tears did not flow, but they almost did. I left. My arms were stuck like this for 2 weeks. True story. Not 2 weeks, maybe a week. My arms were stuck like this, but I was still good. Like, that's definitely a thing because when you have people that are in the United States and something happens to them, car accident or they have an injury, like it's really hard sometimes, and like healthcare insurance companies deny claims all the time, even like life-saving claims. As they say they don't deny life-saving claims, but they do. Okay, let's be real. Looking at you, United Health, and you know that's not going to happen in Brazil. Like you get a bad injury, you're not going to have to worry about not be able to have enough money to fix your injury, if that makes sense, right?
Define Brazil in one word.
Muito complicado. Muito complicado. Very complicated. Or actually, well, that's two words. Complicated.